The day the status quo between them changed to something brighter was like stepping out of the shadows into the morning sunlight. For Bonita, her confidence grew immensely. The darkness that had once represented the fear within her no longer had any power over her. She was certain of that. Hearing words of love and witnessing actions that demonstrated respect slowly made her fears disappear. Plus, waking up and seeing that Queen was still by her side, not going anywhere, made her day infinitely better. "Don't you have a meeting today?" the young woman asked as she noticed the other woman's eyelids fluttering. Her eyes dropped to the necklace she still wore around her neck, and a smile appeared on her face. She delicately reached out to remove it. She didn't want to be pretentious, but since the other woman hadn't taken it off herself, Bonita assumed that since she had put it on, she should also be the one to take it off. "Ah." Kirafat responded with a murmur, but still did not open her eyes. This gave Bonita the opportunity to discreetly observe the body of her beloved. Yes, her beloved. Now, she could call her that with all the letters. On Queen's shoulder, red marks from the previous night's bites were visible. As for her own body, she didn't even need to look to know that it was covered in marks. Her chest was still tender, and just remembering what had happened last night made her body shiver. The other woman's neck was slightly red, but the necklace was too soft to hurt her skin. Queen had chosen well. Even the restraints that had bound her wrists the night before left no discomfort. Or maybe it was because all her attention was on Queen. "Come with me." "What?" "To the company." "With me? I mean."
"Queen."
Kirafat frowned and finally opened her eyes. She had always spoken like this, so changing suddenly wasn't easy. But she wanted Bonita to know that she was trying. "I still haven't gotten used to it." Bonita smiled, understanding. Just knowing that Queen was making an effort for her was enough. "I understand. Stop calling me Queen. And what should I call you?" "Whatever you want, so." "Daddy." "Love." "Big Daddy." "Can you stop?" Kirafat frowned and pulled Bonita closer. The touch of her bare skin was more pleasant than she had imagined, and the simple fact that they were talking in the morning made everything more special. Now she understood why Bonita had been so angry when she woke up alone that day. "So, what do you want me to call you?" Bonita lightly touched the other's lips with her fingertips. Last night, Queen wasn't the only one who had bitten. She had also bitten back, and now the traces were still there. Kirafat lightly bit her finger and, looking into her eyes, replied, "Anything. Anything does not exist. I'm older than you, aren't I? So if I refer to myself one way, you should call me the same way. If you want to be called a specific thing, just say so." Kirafat arched her eyebrow. "And you? What do you want to call your girlfriend?" Now that they were truly together, Bonita realized that her Queen was hiding a childish side that she never imagined. Maybe that was why Queen was so grumpy now, after Bonita said what she wanted. The truth was, she barely had time to study or hand in her work. She didn't work at night anymore, but every time the sun went down, she never got anything done, because Queen always pulled her into bed. "Where did you get so much energy from? I don't understand why we have to be apart before the holidays." Kirafat grumbled once more. Her face was serious, and her eyebrows were furrowed. Bonita's vacation was less than a month away, but for Queen, that was too long to sleep alone. After all, ever since they decided to be together, they had slept in each other's arms every night. Every time she closed her eyes, the first thing she saw when she woke up was Bonita's face. Now, suddenly, she wouldn't see her anymore? It didn't make sense. "When we're together, I can barely study for an hour." "You know why?" the youngest said firmly. Kirafat knew this very well. Whenever Bonita stayed too focused on her books, she would find a way to distract her until Bonita gave in. But what could she do? After they started dating, her patience grew thin, and all she wanted was to be by Bonita's side all the time. "There's no point in saying you won't do anything. If I walk around the house in a t-shirt without a bra, you'll throw me on the bed. But it's because you're cute." Bonita's eyes widened, shocked by the direct answer. Now, Queen knew how to be sweet, huh? But she wouldn't fall for that. How about the time I went to drink water, when you came from behind, kissed my neck, and scared me so much that I spilled water on myself? At that moment, you were beautiful. Bonita narrowed her eyes. Where did Queen get such compliments from? And in the bath. At that moment, I just wanted to bite you. And watching TV, you were paying more attention to the TV than to me. I didn't like it. Each excuse was more absurd than the last, but Bonita couldn't deny that her heart was racing. Even so, she couldn't give in. So you mean no matter what I do, I won't escape? That's why it's better this way. And you can't sulk, or I'll really get mad. That's not fair. I understand that you want to focus on your studies, but ignoring me completely is already overkill. What? It doesn't matter. At least on the weekends, we'll sleep together. Are you sure I'm going to sleep? I don't know. You might end up not sleeping because you left me alone 5 nights in a row. Look who's being selfish. Kirafat sighed, frustrated. She didn't want to seem immature, but she just wanted to be with the person who made her feel good. And in the whole world, this person was just Bonita. If her presence was considered suffocating, all she could do was move away a little and try to change. Then, do as you wish. Bonita frowned because she didn't like that phrase very much. The last time the other said it, the two of them almost fought. And now, she didn't know if the situation was heading towards the same outcome. Are we fighting now? She asked in a firmer tone. If that was the case, she had every right to be really angry, and not just pretend. If the other woman had no reason, neither would she. No, don't lie. We're not fighting.
I don't want to fight.
Kirafat answered honestly. She just felt hurt, but not to the point where she wanted an argument that got out of hand. So why say as you wish? Because that's just it. No matter what I say, I'm not going to change your mind, am I? But when you say it like that, it seems like you don't care. And if I said, do whatever you want, would that make you feel good? Faced with the other silence, Bonita repeated the question. Answer me. No, I wouldn't feel good. So, how do you think I feel? We're not breaking up forever. I just need some time now. Other than that, have I ever crossed you? Don't be mad. Then why do you make me angry? Every sentence Bonita said was a question, all of them cornering Kirafat. It was as if Kirafat was in a ring, taking one punch after another until she was dizzy. Any more and she might be knocked out. Come here. In the end, it always ended like this. If Bonita was upset or unhappy, Kirafat would calm her down with a hug. The warmth shared between the two made the heated emotions dissipate. Because in the end, if they could still hug each other, the argument didn't matter. The touch showed that they still loved each other and wanted to be together. This was enough to heal the relationship, which was nothing more than a journey of mutual learning. Are you that mad? Feeling Bonita's body tremble, Kirafat asked, caressing her back. She had never realized that her way could hurt the other so much. Now that she knew, she would try to prevent it from happening again. Before, she would say what she thought without caring about other people's feelings, but now there was someone she needed to care about. I won't say that anymore. Don't promise something you can't deliver. When I said, as you wish, I meant that I respect your decision. It doesn't mean that I don't care. Because in the end, no matter what you decide, I will always follow you. I don't want to be away for too long. Finally, Kirafat confessed, her voice softening. It's just for a few weeks. Hang in there, okay? And what is the reward for that? Hold on first. Then you can collect. It was Friday, the day Bonita could spend time with her beloved, as they had agreed. Since classes ended early, she went to wait for the other in the office, since the meeting was not over yet. At first, she attracted a lot of attention when she walked up to the director's floor in her school uniform. But because she chose to ignore the curious looks and whispers over time, these expressions of curiosity turned into habitual glances. They didn't respect her like they did when she walked beside Queen, but that didn't matter. She never wanted to be revered by anyone. It took a while today, didn't it? Kita's voice rang out as he approached with a woman at his side. Since the meeting was still ongoing, he didn't need to participate, but Kirafat did since the project in question was under her supervision. Bonita already knew that his sister was frustrated with the delay. She didn't even need to ask to know that it was because it would cut into the time she could spend with Bonita. No problem, she replied softly. Kita smiled fondly. This is the first time I've seen Queen irritated by a meeting taking too long. Usually, it's the others who lose their patience. Really, Queen got used to taking on all the responsibilities. She wants to do everything in the best way, but sometimes I worry about that. This is the first time I've seen Queen actually bothered about leaving work late. But it's normal, isn't it? People should have an organized work routine. Kita smiled again. Yes, but in her position, nothing is certain. Not power, not status, not time. There is always someone ready to take her place. I see. When we're together, she often stays up late reading documents. Exactly. What I mean is, she never acts like a normal person except when she's with me or you, babe. The nickname Babe seemed to have become the way Queen and others called her. Over time, Bonita almost forgot she had a real name. Now, Kirafat no longer glared when Kita approached Bonita, so he could talk to her without fear. But if he sensed that his sister was uncomfortable, he would keep his distance. This was a way of respecting both his sister and Bonita. Do you want me to tell you a story, really? Another story. These siblings were the same. Bonita didn't know what she would talk about, but if it was something about the person she loved, no matter how painful it was, she would listen. Queen changed when she realized how strong our mother had to be to raise 2 children alone. When she learned that society saw our family as incomplete because of the divorce, everything got worse. Kita sighed. Being called an incomplete family was bad enough. But raising 2 children alone was even harder. Although many tried to help, our mother never accepted, because she wanted to prove to the grandparents that she could take care of us. Bonita couldn't help but think of her own mother. Did she ever feel like she was trying to protect her? But it was a useless question. The answer was clear. Her mother chose to run away and live comfortably alone, with the money that the person Bonita loved gave her, without ever trying to get in touch again. Your mother was a strong woman, yes. That's why Queen always looked up to her. But in the process, she lost some of her happiness. So if there's anyone in the world who can make her relax and just be a normal girl, I'm glad it's you, babe. So, please take good care of my sister and help her grow up into a happy adult. But King, your sister, is very stubborn and spoiled, you know? Kita laughed. You can scold her, but never stop loving her. From what I can see, Queen expresses her feelings very clearly, so clearly that even our mother had to give in to her. Bonita smiled. She was not surprised that a strong woman like Lady Kiran had given in to the wishes of the daughter she had always protected. In the end, she raised Queen very well, and Queen became an example for those who love her to follow. Even though she was a little stiff, she was still adorable in Bonita's eyes. So, does that mean I was lucky because Lady Kiran respects Queen in that regard? Kita smiled. Of course. Everyone knew that Kirafat always spoiled her younger sister. So, getting their loved ones together was a good thing. However, what made her eyebrows raise was the fact that Bonita was smiling and laughing frequently during their conversation. Thunwa wasn't much of a talker, but for some reason, she was especially talkative that day. Meanwhile, Kirafat remained silent, joining in the conversation occasionally, but not as much as her sister. You're sulking. Bonita noticed how much her beloved was frowning. But since she was the same age as Thunwa and King, the conversation flowed naturally. In addition, the two gave her a lot of advice. Don't be upset. She is your sister, after all. Who said I'm upset? Don't talk nonsense. Are you sure? Then I won't please you. And how do you intend to please me? Hey, didn't you say you weren't upset? I changed my mind. Bonita chuckled softly and leaned in to kiss her beloved's chin. In that place, surrounded only by people she trusted, this was the most she could do to comfort her. But outside the dining room there were still many curious onlookers, including journalists who insisted on following her. It was a chaos that she couldn't get rid of so easily. Has the annoyance passed? I was just talking about you, you know? Kirafat wanted to ask what else Bonita remembered, since she loved calling her by different names. Who are you? My love, of course. You love calling me different things. You don't like it? Did I say I don't like it? So you like it? Bonita smiled and Kirafat sighed because in the end, she always ended up giving in to her. Are you tired? Kirafat gently ran her hand through Bonita's hair, ignoring her younger sister's provocative glances, before turning her attention back to her beloved. She hadn't asked this without reason. Her life was always hectic and the target of curiosity from others, especially from journalists who loved to create scandals to tarnish the family's reputation. Fortunately, Kongthap's family was not as involved in these matters as they imagined. Or perhaps it was because King handled the situation impeccably. However, when she left that room, she had no idea how many photographers she would have to dodge. Having dinner with Thunwa was not something that was common, and her half-sister was also a big target for the media. Some newspapers still insisted on spreading false rumors about the siblings fighting over their late father's inheritance. What kind of subject? Any. If you're tired, tell me. Hearing this, Bonita smiled even more. There was not a single day that she regretted her choice to get into Kirafat's car to escape the rain. And she was thankful to Queen for not simply walking past that night. Any subject at all, of course. What if the journalists ask about our relationship? About me being just a girl without roots. No matter who you're talking to, you can always say that I'm yours. And I don't care what others say about you. At the end of the day, you're the one I chose. My favorite. The only one. Bonita paused for a moment. Was Kirafat being sweet with ulterior motives again? In a few days, she would finish her exams and the holidays were getting closer and closer. Seriously? If you want to know, try telling that to the journalists when they come to ask you. You can always say I'm someone's queen. What if I said I was Queen's favorite? In that case, make sure you speak loudly so everyone knows who you belong to. That way, people like Phuying won't come near you again. Kirafat was still angry that someone she considered a friend had acted that way towards her beloved. She thought he would have the discernment to know what was right or wrong, but she was wrong. He had let his desires take over, completely ignoring common sense. Bonita leaned over and whispered in Kirafat's ear. It was something she had never said before, but at that moment, she was ready to speak, with a heart free of fear and the certainty that she would never be abandoned. I love you. Kirafat stood still, blinking slowly, until Bonita repeated, Did you hear? I said I love you. I don't need to tell the whole world this. It's enough for my queen to know. It doesn't matter if others don't approve, I don't care. Because, in the end, I'm already Queen's favorite. The only one, right?